Listen.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, 1Upsmanship. I'm
Trademarked.
I'm your Mick BLT because my hot side stays hot and my cool side stays cool. Michael Swain's the name, the human sandwich. And with me is my favorite side of fries, Mr.
Adam Ganser.
Adam
I thought of
Ganser.
myself as more of a McRib, kind of in and out of season. Who knows when
Really?
I'm coming back? Who can tell?
You're only available when pork prices dip below beef prices. You know, that's how they dictate when it comes.
I did
and
not
goes.
know that.
The only
This
reason-
alone was worth the trip.
The only reason the McRib exists is when pork becomes cheaper than beef to mass grind up. McDonald's will be like, guess what? The McRib is back.
That's so
shit.
wonderfully
brilliant.
sinister.
It's brilliant.
It's so sinister in a great way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they put a smile on just the darkest hearts.
Speaking of sinister, dark hearts, with us is the most evil man I know. Please introduce yourself in a sinister fashion.
My name is Breandan Carter, and I'm super stoked to be here.
It's not the
But
voice
honestly,
he
yeah.
used when he was gouging my eye out. with
When he
his
was
bare
pulling
thumb.
off toenails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people who just blindly stab at their phones without reading the titles of things. What
For
game
sure.
are we covering today,
We're
Brennan?
covering Borderlands 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! I feel like some kind of rock has to,
Yeah.
like in the editing, now it has to go.
Oh, yeah.
Down.
We should cut to just that whole sequence of Mad Max with the guy, like
People love
the guy
this
playing
game,
playing the guitar
Yep.
on the
Yeah.
giant
Yep.
truck. I guess is the word for that vehicle.
Giant amp with
Yeah.
wheels. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Nobody's gonna take my amp.
You're just full of music today. You just got tunes
Hey.
pouring from your heart, my friend.
Don't let go. I've got the music in me. So we're gonna convert into cel-shaded versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
Which I equate to a checkpoint, at least for the purposes of this bit, which takes us into our first segment, the Speedrun, where someone, usually the guest, unless they totally freak out and won't do it, explains the game quickly in a nutshell to someone as if they'd never played the game.
Yep.
Top level shit. Are you prepared, Mr. Carter?
Quite prepared.
Start the clock.
All right. So Borderlands 2 is about getting a whole bunch of loot and a whole bunch of guns and shooting everything you can. It starts with one of the companies that was in Borderlands 1 that sold you their guns, got a lot stronger than the other companies. It's called Hyperion. So Hyperion is the main antagonist of this game. These guys are going to be the folks you end up fighting more often than not, and they're after what's called the Vault Key. This Vault Key is supposed to open up the vaults, and wouldn't you know it, you're a vault hunter.
Love it.
So that's not good for you, and you want to go open those vaults. So your choice is to go and fight them, take them on with one of the 4 main characters, and then let's think what goes on next. Then your big bad guy from Hyperion is Handsome Jack. He is a hilarious character, great, wonderful villain, and he's trying to get the key to be charged and open so he can get the Warrior, which is supposedly this big ultra weapon, and it's your job to stop him. And you die hundreds and hundreds of times, but
That's
you're a
true.
clone and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
And the machines that bring you back to life always passive-aggressively talk to you. They're like, oh, it's so nice to see you again. And so if you do end up doing it, you get the key and you win.
In the plot, you literally respawn. It's not like other
no, it's
video
within
games.
the world,
Yeah.
which is very cool.
Yeah. There's only a few games that have done that.
Where the plot involves why you have infinite lives.
Exactly. And so you get the Vault Key, you beat the Warrior, and you kill Jack.
Oh, damn.
It's a good
We
time.
got the whole summary there. That was
Yeah.
pretty fast. That was a pretty fast version of that summary, I thought.
Yeah.
Mike
However,
literally went to space to talk to Handsome Jack.
However, they accidentally activate a secret information. Okay, there's nothing of value in the vault, which is a trend in the series. And Borderlands 1
Yep.
Right.
ended
Yep.
with, oh shit, the vault's empty. I guess we have to do Borderlands 2.
Right.
This
sort
one
of
ends
the-
with, all that was in there was a giant monster. We killed that monster. There's nothing of value, which makes me wonder why Vault Hunters keep trusting.
Because there's supposed to be treasure in it, right?
And there
That's
never
the
has
myth.
been.
But-
It's always a giant monster.
It's beautiful, too. In the end of this one, the Vault Key is kind of, I don't know if it's jostled or turned on in such a way, but it finds a map comes out, a big holographic map with all these other vaults that may or may not have anything in them.
Implying
It's a real piece of Eden situation we got here.
Borderlands 3 coming out any month now.
Yeah.
Or implying that it'll one day become like an MMO where you select
Right.
different planets to fly to, and you
Little
look
No
for
Man's
that
Sky vibe
vault.
in there.
It really
Yeah.
could be an MMO, Borderlands. I don't
Yeah,
want to
so
jump
we better
too far
get
ahead.
into the meat.
Yeah.
Let's get through our rants portion. What are the actual cutscenes in this?
There's a-
Dying and being
plenty.
brought back to life?
Plenty
I'm
cuts.
sorry, I mean checkpoints.
There's no cutscenes.
Checkpoint.
The checkpoints are literal checkpoints. They actually have checkpoints.
Well, what does that mean?
It's
It
where
means
your
you
body
warp-
will respawn from the next
Yeah,
time you
yeah,
die.
Yeah, and then you
okay.
warp through a weird gate so you get to the next
But a
amount
literal
of
checkpoint
territory.
would be like a shed on the border with a man who's like, "This is the checkpoint."
Well, they have a robot version, right? Where that's like
Yep.
you're like on a pad that opens a weird mystical gate that you
Yeah.
can get to the next territory.
And it's
All right.
really, really passive aggressive.
Yeah.
So we're on our pads in our weird mystical checkpoint is the point. Rants. Player one. Can I take player one?
Oh, please.
Give it up.
I'm gonna save it for game on, but I'm just not a fan. I don't get why people like this game.
Yeah, I love
which
it.
is why it was super important to have a guest here who really likes the game. Because people will hate this episode if it's just me shitting on their thing that they like because I don't understand it. Because everyone loves it. I'm here to be educated. I hope I'm outnumbered. I hope Adam also likes it so you guys can explain to me.
Who knows?
But we'll find out because I'm passing it over to player two.
That's all you're saying?
all
You're
I'm
just
gonna
saying
say
I don't
for
like
now.
it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, the rant is your opinion portion.
That's fair. Usually you lay out some
Theories.
some cavernous gaps we have to leap across.
My only theory is that I think it will be fruitful to compare it to Destiny, and
I agree
but
with
I'd
that.
rather do that in the main
yeah,
portion. So
I agree with that.
Cool.
Okay, for my rant, I think Borderlands 3 should be Borderlands World of Borderlands. Because
Wob.
yeah, we don't need the story to this game, is my opinion. I think it's a good looter shooter. And by good, I mean it's effective as a looter shooter. I don't care about the narrative of it because I think it's kind of on Planet Who Gives a Shit. And like, you know, the moderator of it, Handsome Jack, is fun. He's a fun, sinister character. I don't hate the jokes. I know of people who hate the jokes, but I don't hate them. I think they're fine. I think sometimes it's annoying. Sometimes the jokes in Borderlands are obnoxious. Like, I don't think Claptrap is endearing. I think he's a really frustrating R2-D2.
for the uninitiated, he's your robot pal /
Yeah.
narrator who guides you through a lot of the quests.
Right, and he's an example to me of when Borderlands isn't really working, which is like, hey, we're going to have this bit, and like, this annoying character is going to shout it at you the rest of this game. Okay, fine. Sometimes it's funny. You know, sometimes Handsome Jack calls a thing a diamond butt pony, and I'm like, all right, you tickled me in my really stupid joke place
The
that
only
I think is
joke
fine.
anyone ever calls out about
I know,
the game.
because it's a memorable one that he says.
Yeah.
So fine. They're not amazing, but it's fine. I do like the different kinds of weapons. I do like the 4-part Rochambeau-ness of the different elements and stuff.
different companies that produce each gun
but the
have
elements.
similarities.
Yeah. And many games, including Destiny, have tried to copy it. I like the weird, almost Mad Max world. I like that it's animated. I don't care about the initial decision between the 4 different types of characters. I think that's mostly arbitrary. And I think this game is fine.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, let's get some pep and energy back.
Can you
by
pep this
passing it
up?
over to Breandan, who we clearly brought to do the episode for us.
No, it's not our job to like the fucking game.
So
It's
am I
our job to
player- am I
tell what
player
it is.
3 then
Yeah,
in
you're
this?
player 3.
Player 3
All right.
right now.
Love this game. I love this game dearly and deeply, and it checks off all the right boxes in my brain. I really enjoyed the story, and in the second one, they did something really important to me. They did something that Game of Thrones did to hook people in. They killed a main character, a character that you could have played, spoiler alerts, in the first one. So that character loses his life, and then other characters have to deal with that. And then, in the Telltale series, another major character
I
loses
played
their
that.
life. That's something that goes into Borderlands, the last DLC that'll bring us into 3.
How can they die in this society where you just get re-digitally
You're a
cloned every
Vault Hunter.
time?
Not all of them are. And some of them, due to the way that they die, are such a scenario where they're not going to be able
Disintegrated
to,
or whatever. Okay.
not going to be able to come back. I love the aspect of getting a gun that you know you're going to hold like a child for at least 5 to 6 levels.
Sure.
It's such a wonderful feeling to get that gun to aim it at somebody and to drop them in 3 hits, and you're like, I've been shooting 7 to 8 hits per gun. This is next level now. That, and then also the bittersweet letting go of that gun, those 7 to 8 levels later. To me, like, there's such a beauty in having preciousness with things and then having to let it go. The game makes you let it go, and they do that with their story, with their guns, and the fact that you don't even get anything in the vault at the end of each of the games, but you still come back for more. So I've got a huge brain hard on for looting. This game is all about looting. It's just a wonderful experience to open up those chests. And in one of the DLCs, it's a Dungeons and Dragons kind of world, so some of those chests will turn out to be not chests. They'll be, what are they called? Not dittos. That's Pokemon.
Wait, what?
The chests that bite at you.
Mimics?
Mimics, thank you. And that's really fun. So
That's true.
I enjoy...
I fucking hate that in games, but it's in a lot of games, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's a time-honored tradition.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the factions, the way that they took the main characters from 1 and made them some of the main NPCs for 2. I thought was a really cool thing to do, and that might be something we'll see in 3. Borderlands 3 might have those same characters from the 2 become the main NPCs of the next one.
Meaning the playable characters?
Playable characters in 2 might end up being the ones that give you the main missions, become storyline characters in the big world. And I loved what they did from 1 to 2 with your main characters in 1 becoming the big anti-government force versus the big giant gun company. So I think they did a great job with that. And I love the factions, the different groups that you've got. You've got a group that you can go mess with one and then tell it that it was the other group that did it to them and watch that fight play out.
Yo, Jimbo.
Really enjoy that quite a bit. The driving is really weird, but
Driving's horrible.
it's such a weird system
One
for
of
driving.
my main things.
Yeah, the driving's horrible.
That
in
I
this
can
game.
make a consolation
Yeah.
towards, but
Halo
everything
2
else
though,
I
also.
love dearly about this.
Okay, that's a
right.
good defense of this game, I
Yeah.
would argue. He certainly listed things I forgot about. Because I didn't play
Sure.
this in the last 6 months. I touched up
I
on
played
it
it
a while
recently
back.
for this to
Yeah.
do this. The game is quite literally on, which means we can talk about whatever we want. So, it was what you heard me mutter passive aggressively at Adam. I want to say for the whole class. Would you admit that the Halo driving in Halo 1, that their driving was clunky by modern standards?
Yes, but it was better than Borderlands' driving.
Okay, that's what I also think that, but I wanted confirmation.
And 10 years earlier. Or maybe not 10,
Exactly.
but close.
And that's one of my main issues is that, okay, here's my main issues with the game, and then Brendan can dispel them all. But it's that I really appreciate that there's no falling damage, but at the same time, it came with the cost of this kind of floaty feel.
Yep.
The sheer number of times, and Destiny does this too, but somehow in Destiny, I don't find myself revisiting the same place quite as many times. And in Borderlands 2, it got to the point where, like that opening area where you go under the big open garage door and down a slope and there's a little village, I was like, it was like one of those time travel movies, like Happy Death Day. I was like, then the guy with the knife comes out that door, then the big nomad guy comes out that door.
Right.
Like, it's the same every time, and you do it over and over and over.
And you're not learning a lesson.
And
You're
I don't
no
get
Bill
how
Murray.
people like it.
Yeah.
And then for me, the butt pony thing is funny, and everyone always says the game is funny, but they're really only thinking of that moment. And like the other moment, like,
But you never laugh at any of the sarcasm or snarkiness or playful...
it's trying too hard for me that
Yeah.
they're like, look at this big fat mechanic lady. I'm like, haha, funny. She's really fat. Like, I don't know. The jokes are just very
Sometimes they're pretty
basic
lowbrow.
to me. Yeah, and lowbrow.
They're not clever.
I will say something you guys didn't bring up that I think is a positive is I thought the DLC characters were both great. Like, my favorite character to play as was probably the Mechromancer who, summons the robot that helps you out.
What about Tina? Isn't Tina a DLC character?
Not yet.
No, there's also
She's still an
there's the
NPC
psycho.
quest giver.
Yeah. She's fun.
Oh, so that was my question also, Brendan, is when someone dies in the plot and goes away for good in Borderlands, that's tantamount to just like retiring a class, right? Like that means in the next game you won't get to be
Not
that class?
necessarily, because in Borderlands 2, all 4 of the classes that you could play early on are now off the table. So they're doing variations of the classes that have
Right.
similar vibes but different specificity.
But can we acknowledge the classes are pretty much exactly as arbitrary as Destiny's classes are.
Um,
They're pretty meaningless.
Each person has, well, the Necromancer has more, which is why it's my favorite. It affects
Yeah.
the most, but basically it gives each person one unique special move.
Right, and
That's
the
what
class
your
moves
is.
and
Yeah.
the class. We're going to keep bringing up Destiny in this podcast, in part because I'm obsessed with it, and in part because I do think this is one of the closest
It's a touchstone.
analogs to it. And it came first, so I want to give it some credit there. Destiny's, all of their classes have both a unique special move, which is basically what you get for the class decision in
Borderlands.
Right.
but then also unique grenades, unique jumps, unique unique gear, and you don't really get that from Borderlands. You just get one special move.
Yeah, on the other end of that, I appreciate that factor because I've had it hours and hours of my life toiling over which class will be the one that will get me the farthest in the game before I feel tedious.
Especially in a game like
Yeah, that's hard
Diablo
to
or
know.
something,
Right.
where each
So-
class is very different.
So
Well-
this game takes that out of the equation and says you'll have one cool thing, but it won't generally hinder how you're going to do against each and every boss.
It's not like an RPG where you'll get 20 hours in and be like, I need to restart and be a thief.
Why
I
am
don't
I a
like
fucking
this.
white mage?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It didn't want to take that gamble. They didn't
Obviously,
want you to take that gamble.
I mean, it's all about rock and roll party time, drive fast. I do think it's the type of game that wants you to, with minimal fetters, like slide down the water slide. Just like start having fun. Just go.
Right.
Do it. Play the
Right.
game.
then it should be fun faster.
Oh, shit.
says the old bear here.
There's a fair amount of tutorial shit at the beginning.
It takes
following
that
context.
takes
a while. I
You
will
have to
agree.
kill that Matterhorn monster a million
Yeah, the
fucking
fake
times
Yeti.
before.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to gripe at every little thing. Can you sell me on the things that you do like about Borderlands 2?
Well, you pointed at me.
I
think
pointed
should
at you.
point
Yes.
Brendan.
No. I don't even. I know what Brendan likes, and we're gonna let him defend it. But I want to
don't-
hear what you do like.
I think I only like a few of the story elements, but they still strike me as like Boogerman or Conker's Bad Fur Day, where I'm like, I get it. You're trying to be edgy. Like, in our game, some of the chests are toilets. You reach into the poo to get your gun. And I'm like, fine, dude. It's fine.
Do you enjoy the literal gameplay of it? The
No, it
gunplay, the
feels-
jumping around.
It feels too grindy to me, and I like cell shading, but I don't think it's done well here. And Brendan probably feels ambushed. It was a gotcha episode of 1Upsmanship.
This,
Yeah.
I have a defense for every one of these
Good,
things
I
personally.
Oh, I
Hear
like
it.
this. I like it.
And I would end up, there's a few times I have beaten this game, but twice I think I stopped and didn't come back to it for like 6 months and then started
many
over.
times.
Oh, yeah.
And the
I've
reason
done
for
that.
that was always that there was some mission that I had to drive to across a vast expanse, and I tried 3 times, and every time the car got stuck somewhere, and I'm like, I'm done redoing this. I feel like it's too about redoing.
There's a lot of redoing.
I may have been spoiled by Destiny and Destiny may owe it to Borderlands. I have no idea. I would be surprised if Borderlands 3 doesn't start to echo back, like steal things from Destiny. For example,
Oh, for
there's
sure it
no
will.
raid equivalent in the Borderlands games. There definitely will be eventually.
Right,
Why
right.
wouldn't they do that? It's a good idea.
They have to.
Yeah, but I
To
feel
compete.
This
I-
generation.
for my money, I'm like, why would I ever play Borderlands when there's Destiny? It's the same, but every single aspect is done better.
Well, and it's space, and that's more fun.
And the story in Destiny is not better than the Borderlands
Not at
story,
all.
I would
It's worse.
argue. But the Destiny story is lifted even more. Like, you can skip all the cutscenes and just go shoot the thing and go, good, thank
and
you, Destiny.
that's what the experience really is.
Yes.
Like you play through the story missions once, but then you can't even access them on the map anymore in Destiny 2.
Oh, okay.
Like you legit are not doing story after you're done with the plot once.
And a classic to me is the visceral impact of shooting. I think it's so important in shooting games. When you shoot monsters in Destiny, if you shot their arm jerks back.
yeah. That's a
in
problem.
Borderlands, they still do the classic. Their life bar just goes down.
Not for all of them.
And when it gets to the bottom, they do a death animation.
Not for all
Not
of them.
for right.
Okay, go ahead. Say more about
Okay,
that.
so one point to that is the robots. If you shoot them in their joints, their arms and legs will come off each
Yeah.
separately, and they go ow, 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 and it kills me. I don't know why I love that. And also to say about the grindiness of it, yes, there's definitely grindiness. But what I love about Borderlands 2, and I will say that all of the DLCs help this, but if you're playing at a certain level, you can bounce out of a mission, a main mission even, and just go do side missions for a while, come back to that main mission with no time or feeling having been lost or anything. You come back a couple of levels stronger, and like JRPGs, you feel yourself just hot knife through butter. You're kicking people's asses immediately.
The levels matter more in this game than most looter shooters.
Well, that's the point of repetition. I get it. The point of repetition is to go through the same area again and feel your power increase because you get through it faster. And I don't know how you nail that, but it's just there's a balance.
Who
And
has
for me,
nailed it?
Borderlands 2 is too much.
Who has nailed it, in your opinion?
Oh boy. I feel like there is an answer to that, or I feel like I was recently thinking I love doing. Oh, Resident Evil. We covered the Resident Evil remaster. Resident Evil is a game where I really appreciate the feeling of being weak and then going through the same room again and being like, rocket launcher that dude's head, get the fuck out of here, plant zombie.
Also, there was
Right.
real fear in the original.
Right, because you start so weak.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
And
beginning
it's
of the game is
cathartic
just
to
hide
go
and
back and
seek.
be like, now I'm confident.
That's accurate. Yeah, you don't really have that experience in either of the games
And
we're comparing it.
Because I'm a story guy, I have a very low tolerance for it, so I may not be the best. Like this game, even Destiny, I don't like the patrol missions because I'm like, I've seen the moon level. I don't need to go to the moon level again and just gather widgets.
Nobody fucking likes the patrol missions,
But they're included, and you have
you
to do
barely
them.
even have to do them. No, you don't.
Yeah, you don't have
You haven't
to.
played in a long time. Come on back. They got bounties now, oh, baby. You
Your
like
Destiny
it.
boner is showing.
Oh, big time. It's out there, it's swelling. Look, so here's one piece of contention I wanted to make, and I want to see your argument against it, Brendan. Brendan's comment earlier, if you recall, was that the guns become precious and then you must discard them.
Which
Right?
Destiny also goes for.
Destiny is better at it. Here's what I mean. Destiny gives you endgame weapons that are the final weapons, right? You must get these final weapons. It takes months to get them, right? They all have unique perks. That part's not distinct from Borderlands.
Sure.
But you don't discard them, right? You decide which of them apply best to the next
Your
situation
play
you're going to
style
go,
or
right?
whatever,
And then
yeah.
you make a play style based on it. And when you get those endgame guns, you can legitimately change how you play the game, right? If you want to be one of those laser boys, you can be a laser boy.
Or, I mean, they
They got
really keep
lasers.
you like, you suddenly encounter a sword and you're like, I'm going to be a sword guy.
Yeah,
for a
I'm being.
while.
It turns out I'm a bow and arrow kind of dude. Yep, fair enough. You
Yep.
know, and I've played a lot of Borderlands 2, enough that I've seen most of the gun archetypes. It doesn't really change the gameplay that much when you get into endgame weaponry, and the fact that they're actually disposable, even though you do hang with them for a few levels on your way up,
Right.
I get that. The fact that the endgame weapons are disposable makes it so that the reward for getting a cool weapon is never going to be as high as the day you get Galahorn, right? Or the day you get the Vex Mythoclast.
But there
or
is
whatever.
a satisfaction, I think, out of the fact because in Borderlands the traits are randomized.
Right, so the
it's
stats.
the random generator.
Right, and you get that in Destiny
So there's
also.
also it's a luck element, or I do like when you pick up a gun and
absolutely.
you're like, it's 8% higher than the
Right.
identical gun I picked up just by chance.
I got a
lucked
good
out.
roll.
Yep.
Yes, and that happens also in Destiny, not to the same degree. But
Sure.
I'm using these to compare because the looter shooter genre is basically a stats genre, right? So make your counterpoint to that.
So I really, really appreciate the high of getting a rarity of a rare gun. And that's something that I have found in games like Chrono Trigger. When you do get end game guns, I lose that ambition. I lose that kind of like, well, this is already the best gun or weapon I'm going to have for the game. So there's a piece of the excitement of that gamble and the rolls that you get that dissipates after a while. What I really, really enjoy about this, and even with the DLCs, is they've got a slot machine that gives out shitty guns, but if you get really, really lucky, you can get yourself a very good rare gun that you can hold on to for 8-9 levels. And I love that that never goes away. I love that that's always an itch that I'm going to want to scratch with a new gun and a new style. Like I last night got a rainbow rarity submachine gun.
So you're still actively playing Borderlands.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
It's in your rotation.
That's
Okay.
really interesting.
Because it's been a minute. Borderlands
It's like a
3 is
10-year-old
about-
like you
game.
said, I'll go months and months and months without touching it, but then I'll jump in and be hooked for a long time.
Interesting.
And what I really like is, like I said, never used a submachine gun in the game before for years and years until I got that rainbow rarity gun, and it was so cool to use a different variation of a gun.
Yeah.
And to take on different bad guys with a new style of play. And that never goes away as long as there's never an end game gun for me that becomes my end all.
It's true that if you're going to have end game gear, right? Any
right.
game that has that problem, like Diablo even, right?
Right.
So you have one of two choices. One is that you're always chasing the elusive like higher roll.
Right.
Right? Which means at a certain point you're just grinding and like hundreds of hours to get a slightly better scythe or whatever the fuck it is, right?
Sure.
That's what your last experience will be. That's the final experience of the game. Or there are a certain catalog of weapons. You can get this. This is the thing. This is Excalibur. Once you pull it from the stone, you got Excalibur, right? And then the only reason to keep playing the game is A, because you like it, but really we all get tired of it, right? Is that they have to release new Excaliburs. There have to be new ones injected into the system.
Right.
And if that doesn't happen, the game's over. That's what you're saying. So the question is, which do we prefer?
Well, it's interesting. We were saying before Breandan got here that Breandan seems to have a quality that we both envy of being present and enjoying experiences for
He's
their own
much
sake.
better at that than I
We're
am.
both very goal-oriented. So it's interesting this is happening in the episode because I'm like, yeah, I prefer a game where the tech tree is all grayed out, but they show you the whole tech tree.
Yeah.
So I can go, okay, the reason I'm investing time in this game
Is for this square.
is because at the end of the game, there's a move called skin the enemy's head with your mind.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going to get that and see what it does for a while and then go, I'm done.
I did it. I have skinned the mind.
Whereas, like you're saying, you can pick up the game months later and just play it. That speaks of someone who's like, I'm not grinding because I'm obsessed with I enjoy playing the game, so I play it.
Right. See, I have a hard time. See, and I think
And
Borderlands.
you're that way about Destiny. Do you only play it for the end game gear?
That's basically what they have. How they've designed the game, right? And like right now, I have all the end game gear, so I'm not playing it.
Interesting.
Well, there's one gun I don't have, but I don't want to do the raid.
But
I
you
don't want
don't
to deal
pick
with
it up as like how you'll play
Right.
music to relax. You wouldn't just pick up Destiny and play for a few hours
No,
for the
because
texture of it.
No, because I have a video game podcast, so I have things to do.
Yeah.
But I probably would. Is the answer to that? I probably would be.
Yeah.
But I do tend to need to have something to chase that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't understand, for instance, the Diablo phenomenon, where after
cover
you've
it
got
eventually.
for sure we will. After you've gone through the whole experience of it, right, and leveled up a while, then you're just sort of chasing around RNG. You're just chasing
Randomly
RNG around,
generated.
Right.
Yeah.
hoping to get a weapon that doesn't even really feel different or look different, just higher stats. That's it.
And
I don't
yet,
understand that.
Diablo 2 ladders still exist, and all it is people playing through the campaign over and over and over to get the highest stats of anyone in the world and
And-
get their name on top of the thing.
Yep.
That's to me like, yeah, man, like, God, if only you wanted to cure cancer. Like, if only you had a passion to like be the
Make
one.
it a video game. Then
Yeah, the one
chance.
who solved the world hunger or something.
Yeah.
Abe was on top of the Diablo 2 ladders at one point.
Yeah, he loves
when
that
it
game.
reset. Yeah.
We played Diablo together, he and I, which means he should probably be the guest on this podcast.
Yeah.
And he would like toss me gear that he had hung on to that he wasn't using anymore. That was like so fucking much better than anything I had. He was like, "Oh, I don't need this. You want
And
this?"
it'll
And I'm
just
like,
say,
"Yes,
1 million.
Yes, thank you. This
All
is
the numbers
thank you,
is high.
thank you, precious. Thank you." Just
right, because you
yeah.
don't want to grind for it.
No.
I don't really enjoy grinding, which is why I think it's so interesting that Destiny got you so good.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer shooters in general to non-shooters, so that's part of it. But
I realized I actually have a very good answer for best looter shooter,
Great.
in my opinion.
Let's hear it.
It's Enter the Gungeon. It's Enter the Gungeon.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It's the perfect looter shooter. Every gun is handcrafted, completely changes your style of gameplay.
Yeah. I
There
just
are
have
secrets
never
to
been a fan
uncover.
of that.
It's goal-oriented because it's incredibly difficult to get a run where you actually beat all 5 chambers.
Right.
There's a hidden 6th and 7th chamber if you want to get fancy and have a run where you
I
can
don't
do
like
all
about
of them.
Enter the Gungeon that I'm not building anything. I don't mean physically building. I'm not like achieving something that I then get to keep.
Yeah, you are. Every
Well,
time
yeah,
you
you're
go
opening the range of guns you can
Nope.
get. Right?
And when you
Shop owners
enter
and
the
stuff.
Gungeon, it's just a big empty room, and you go down and you do the game. But as you loop it, you meet various people in the Gungeon. They appear at the entrance, and by the end, there's like a dozen people there, and they all do different things, like have modes that change the way the game is played, can speed time up or slow time down.
And yet, what I don't have are the guns of said Gungeon. I lose all that, which to me is like the thing I'm doing it for.
Oh, you mean you want the guns
I
when
wanna
you're chilling in the lobby?
Still
you
have
wanna
them.
hold on
Yeah.
I
to
want
your
to still
guns.
have my
Okay.
guns. Yeah, I
I'm
want to
with
still
you
have
on
them.
that.
Or I want to be able to go to a fucking rack somewhere at the beginning, at the
Yeah.
entrance of the Gungeon, and pull them off
You
and
know,
use them.
arguably they should have included an end game thing where there's like a merchant where you can go
I have all this.
pick your
Give it to me.
loadout for this run
Right.
based on every gun you've unlocked so far.
I just
that's,
prefer
that's
that.
an oversight.
I like
sure.
that
It's not an
personally.
oversight. It's a decision. They decided not to be that way,
Right.
Because they could have easily done it, and I think that's fine. I just don't like that.
I just find their guns by far the most thoughtful.
They're more
craft,
creative.
The most creativeness that's ever gone into generating thousands of guns.
I believe that,
Yeah.
but they don't
have the
feel
wind-up?
like guns.
They have the wind-up gun from that one episode of Futurama where they fight the balls. Like, I'm just a sucker for all that. They like all the things I like,
Yep.
and everything's
Yep.
a great
I think that's a
reference,
big
yeah.
component
Cultural
of this. Because you know what it
haptics.
doesn't have?
The banana
feeling
gun.
of guns.
The banana gun
Yeah.
from Worms is in there.
Yep. Yep.
No,
That's cool.
no, wait. But it also has every, it has Uzis,
but
AKs,
they never
shotguns.
feel like guns because it's that.
You mean because
that-
it's top-down versus first-person shooter?
and because it doesn't operate at the speed or feeling of how a gun works.
But you can change the speed if you talk to their Sonic the Hedgehog equivalent. This is not the Enter the Gungeon episode.
No, but
Right. But you were making a point.
But what we're really doing here, what we're really doing here is fine tuning exactly what is the experience I want with a looter shooter.
Right.
Because Borderlands is one of the big titans of that. Right.
Right.
Like Warcraft.
Right.
Borderlands, Destiny.
Is Warcraft a looter shooter?
It's a looter. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I just
okay.
mean like a gear-based game, really.
Oh,
know?
yeah. Or like EverQuest.
Yeah,
You mean
Final Fantasy
right,
14,
where you're
you know.
hoping for that big pickup.
Yeah.
Are you a Pokemon man, Brandon?
I am.
I mean, aside from that
Pokemon?
we had you play Ash
Yeah.
Ketchum in a sketch.
Yeah, I
'cause
started with
realized
Pokemon Red.
Pokemon rides or dies on your desire to like open the ball. Which one is it? It's that fucking one I wanted.
Yep.
Oh shit,
But
son.
but I've never played a Pokemon game, but my assumption is that a Pokemon game is ultimately the same as getting the exotic weapons in Destiny,
Dude,
right?
and there's
I finally
ones-
got Hawk
But
Moon,
you have to
motherfucker.
fight the weapon first, and then get it to within an inch of its life to be able to capture
And then
it.
capture
And sometimes
it.
you do not.
Fail,
so you have
and
to
that's
keep
crushing.
trying.
Sure.
And they have pushed it to an absurd degree. Like there's Pokemon and the new ones that are called like shiny foil, rare, rainbow, legendary Pokemon, like whatever,
Yeah.
with a bunch of modifiers.
Yeah.
And you'll find YouTube videos where like a kid unlocks it and he flips out, and the degree to which he flips out, you're like, this kid must be nuts. Until you realize what he did, it literally is like it will only happen to 4 people who ever play the game.
Right.
Like you're still flipping out too much, but it
Right.
also is staggering how much they throttled back. They're like, there's a 1/1 billionth of a chance each time you open a Pokeball that it'll be this.
And that
one.
dopamine release.
Yeah.
And somebody
is
had to have it,
something
right?
Someone
else,
had,
man.
and it must feel great. You
Right.
must
Right.
feel like you won the video game lottery.
Yep.
I'm
I think
sure.
it feels the same
I
as when you
literally-
win anything that you've worked hard for and don't.
Yeah.
get,
Sure.
you know.
I literally looked up online how rare my gun was after I got a very rare gun because
Like
I was so excited.
percentage-wise?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the percentage of when it drops. It was just like 0.01, and I was like, "Fuck yes!"
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
I felt like personally accomplished.
See, I always get that perverse joy in Telltale games when they're like, "You killed Randy? Dude, no one kills Randy. Like 99% of people who played this saved Randy." And I'm like, "That's right, I'm contrarian. Fuck you." I'd kill him again.
I'm the 1%.
You see weird
Yeah.
cred. You want weird cred.
I like making the
Yeah.
decision that no one made. Yeah,
That's interesting. I do also like knowing that information with Borderlands.
Yeah. Yep.
That's true. Especially if I really agree with my decision. I like being contrarian.
Oh yeah.
Like, everybody's so wrong but me.
I guess so. The
Yeah.
reason I'd stump for Gungeon is just that the games effectively change each gun effectively completely changes your strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
my problem with both Destiny and Borderlands, but they're different. Destiny, the guns have a more handcrafted feel. I like the feeling of like lore behind the gun, and like they made this gun and they had a story in mind for this gun.
That you kind of understand. Yeah.
But there's still like the guns generally do 9 things.
Yeah. It's not
Mhm.
infinite in its capacity.
And then Borderlands, because the elemental aspect, it's like the guns do 5 things and there's overlap.
Right.
I just like in Gungeon that it's like, here's 100 guns. Each one works entirely different from every other of the 100
Well,
guns.
that's
because
what
we
you-
handcrafted each
That's what you
gun.
always wished was true of Doom, right? You play Doom and you get the 8 weapons or whatever it is, right?
Yes.
But what you really wish Doom was that these is like by level 30, now you're getting the fucking the nuclear skin laser. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, I don't know
But
what
it's
that is.
important they work differently.
Right,
Like not
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
Like, and they're very careful to
Now I
like
have a
these
portal
guns work
gun.
different.
I will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will defend Borderlands in that because you can get some guns that you just don't see coming. Like I got a shotgun that threw 3 hatchets, and when they hit a target, those 3 hatchets would explode.
Okay, I never saw that.
That was really cool.
That's
They do
great.
have some
That's
I
weird
have
cool.
a
guns
gun
like
that started out as a bad guy robot. You kill the robot, and his AI core is like, "Hey, man, so let's level here. I really didn't want to be a robot anyways, so if you could be really cool, I could give you like a quest to get me into the next bad guy, and I won't be bad to you." And every single time you put him into the next bad guy, he's bad to you
Yeah.
until the end of that mission where you put him into a gun. But the best part is, it's a very good gun, but it's insufferable to use because he's like fucking pow 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 pow. Every time you shoot, it's him making the sounds. And you're
Yeah.
like,
So
so
it's
what are you
the
going to
things
shoot
you
anymore? Stuff?
don't
What are you
like.
doing?
And did they have a gun that's like a dog's brain in a jar connected to a...
No, that's
might be
that's
Fallout.
Fallout
Who had
New
the
Vegas.
sniffer?
That's Fallout New Vegas.
No, they had a dog with a brain and with a visible brain.
And it had a brain
Rex.
that you used as a gun. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Rex dies
Yeah.
and you can put his brain in a
Yeah.
gun.
Yep.
That's what
Yep.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
of. Okay, yeah. That was very specific.
Fallout's another game that has a little bit of endgame weaponry.
a
in it,
little,
right?
but they largely
Sure, with
stick
the Fat
to...
Man and stuff.
It's
Yeah.
funny for a sci-fi game. They largely stick to real guns,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 2 types of lasers, and they don't get too crazy.
Well,
yeah,
no,
they
but-
tie in the
but-
post-apocalyptic well.
But other than that
New-
sun gun.
No, but New Vegas, like, there's weird weapons all over the place on that map at the edges.
Yes.
When- Like, they have
Alien
like 10 or 15
blasters.
weird
like
guns.
the
yeah.
alien ray blaster.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
That's what they did to answer this need, right? Because that's
Yeah.
the thing is if you're an RPG game that's based around guns, then you got to provide weird fucking guns for us to want to collect, or this RPG sucks, right? Like,
Absolutely.
So I guess my real question is Borderlands 2 RPG enough for you?
I think it strikes a perfect balance for me in
Yeah.
the way that I play games. I don't have to worry about all of the gear. I have to worry about like a book, an element, and a shield, and then it's all the rest is about the guns. So the guns are almost as much of what your armor would do in any general RPG. And I like that my leveling up has a medium but manageable skill tree for
It
3 different
Usually
versions
it
of a
boils
character you
down to
wanna
just
play.
like a fun choice. Because
Yeah.
the tech tree's simple enough that every time you level up, you'll be like, oh, I leveled up. And it'll be like, you want claws or a rocket launcher? And you'd be like, it's always a simple, fun choice.
Yep,
And
yep.
they're like, you want to double jump or breathe fire? You're like, okay.
And you can
I
reset
love
your
the
skill tree.
tone of the game as you render it, right?
I don't know. What do you
Just
want
like
to do?
sort of like lazy bartender. Like
You
what
want
do
to
you, what do
shoot
you
this
have?
nomad? Do you know what
Yeah.
a nomad is? He's just seeking a better life for his family. You want to shoot him? Yes? Okay, good.
Cool.
Yeah,
Another thing that I like that they added in Borderlands 2 was a kind of thing that you saw in BioShock that kind of fell out a little bit, where you can strategically have certain bad guys fight other bad guys.
Yes.
There's one berserker type bad guy that has the cage or bucket over his head. If you shoot off that bucket and then just
freaks
fuck off for a
out.
little while,
Yeah.
you'll come back and he'll be having killed everybody else, and for every kill he did, level up himself. So then when you go back to him, kill him, he's got
He's an
incredibly
experience
better
point
loot than he would have
pinata.
otherwise had.
Yeah.
I do like those little things.
Destiny
And there's a
has
version of him
that-
that has a
It's not
treasure
the
chest on his
same-
back.
It's not the same as the mind control thing in BioShock, where like it's not really a strategy thing in the same way.
Bioshock was a very specifically built mousetrap.
Right.
Yes, and I think that Borderlands is better at creating interesting ways to redo old video game ideas. Like, for instance, they have explosive barrels, right? A bunch of different kinds. But also, the Berserker thing is another weirder way to do an explosive barrel. Because that's what that is. That's an explosive barrel that you're blowing up in a slow motion way to watch happen.
That you then
right?
have to fight.
Yeah, and then you have to fight it, right. And that's fun. You know, like, they do have weird little things like that. And
What
I
are
like
your...
it.
Because I do want to... Like, yeah, that gets me thinking, Brandon, because you were saying favorite... What are other favorite moments, favorite bosses? Was there a boss fight you liked the best, or you think the boss is cool or funny?
I really enjoyed the Boom Boom fight.
That's my favorite one.
That one has a lot of character to it, and there's... That
hard,
to me
though.
like has the most strategy. Like Second Wind is a very cool element in this game where if you die, you've got a window of time to be almost dead, where if you kill somebody, you come back with a decent amount of health and can continue to go. So when you've got boss battles, you've got your 1 or 2 big bosses and then a bunch of ancillary little dudes that'll come at you to essentially be your health when you get knocked down by the boss.
It's Sonic's last ring.
Right.
Right. It's the same feeling where you're like, actually, in that boss fight, I died 40 times, but I came back to life 41 times, and that's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you didn't even have to like reclone yourself.
I just kept getting that one ring.
And so the Boom Boom fight I really enjoyed. In the DLC, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dungeon Keep, the D&D one, I really enjoyed that final boss fight with the version of Jack. The different Handsome Jack. And then that one also hit me really well with storyline at the end of that fight, because Tiny Tina is a character who's trying to process the death of somebody that was very close to her through this D&D game. And that culminates in this final boss battle with her narration with the other main characters. So while you're doing this really intense fight, you get this really cool bittersweet moment of, I've done it, I've beaten this DLC, but now I also have to come to terms with this young child coming to terms with the death of somebody incredibly close to her. So you've got a cool energy and emotion that comes along with that. And I don't feel that in a ton of other games where you've got sadness and happiness that hits you in such a way.
Play The Last of Us DLC, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You truly experience what it's like to fall in love for the first time and for that person to slowly die in front of your eyes. It's so fucking good.
That's... See, I think the only... I mean, that's what you're saying is true, but the problem is that, like, Borderlands 2 has a specific gate to caring about it, right? Like, you need a certain emotional makeup to care about it. I don't think it's a narrow gate. I think it's wide. But if you don't care, like, right at the outset, if you're not like, I'm on board with this fucking weird world, then none of those things that you listed are gonna work.
Sure.
Because it never redeems itself along the way in a way that, like, hey, everybody else, this is also for you.
I actually think I'd be intensely addicted to this game if they didn't try to do vehicle stuff when they're not great at it.
And the jokes.
Because the driving long distances to get to the next quest is the part
like
that I
either.
actually found the most tedious. I like being in their towns. Their hub cities are well designed. And I could abide by the jokes. Like, I play lots of games where the story's not my favorite story.
But it has the effect that, like, the dialogue in Hobbs and Shaw has, where it's like, okay, I like the jokes, but also, like, I don't like that we thought we need 5 minutes of riffing for there to be a comedy beat. 2 lines of riffing would have also gotten the laugh you wanted. There's a little bit of that in Borderlands.
The other missing element for me is the viscerality thing.
Yes, it's not very visceral, I agree.
Robots aside, whose arms and legs pop off, Destiny has such a meteor. When you shoot the bug monster, it looks and feels like you shot it just then, and that it's reacting to that shot hitting it.
Sure.
And I don't know why it's so hard for me, because these are all fake worlds, but when it's just a bar that decreases, it kills my boner.
There's something for me with this, I think it plays into the cell shading of you're in a comic book universe almost. And I love that these characters that you're fighting within the universe also will clone and respawn over time.
Yeah.
They just take longer because they have less money or less.
It's not that. It's not the logic of it. It's that the moment-to-moment experience of it isn't rewarding the way that visceral experiences are. Right? It's not that I don't it's not that I don't like it because, like, there's these weird clones and why are they wearing masks and like it's not the world of it. I like the world. It's fine. You know, like it's not stupider than Mad Max.
or Mortal Kombat.
No, it's
Yeah.
about the same, right? It's a little better in some
Very
ways.
Mad Max-y,
It's
yeah.
more fun.
Yeah.
It's that I agree with you that like when I shoot the gun is more a wacky way to deliver health bar goes lower than it is.
It's like pointing a ray at something
right.
and watching
well,
it go
I
down.
like shooting guns in games because I'm a person that plays video games.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not crazy.
right. I'm the normal one. And this game doesn't really give you that. I think I agree with you about that, Mike. That's also my big problem with Borderlands. And also, when you run, you do feel like you're floating everywhere. That's not my favorite thing.
And yet, by the same token, if they had fall damage, the game would suck. It
I agree.
would be
Absolutely.
really annoying.
I
if
like
they had
Yeah.
the
fall damage.
floatiness of it. Hits me in a nostalgic place because of Quake. It's got a
Sure.
That's fair.
Quakean kind of
That
vibe
makes
to
sense,
it,
yeah.
and I like that quite a bit because if I go back to another game where I'm not as fast, it's infuriating to be able to like now I'm walking slow. Like Fallout New Vegas is very painful to play
It's not
after
a real
Borderlands 2.
shooter.
Agreed.
It's
Yeah.
so much slower, but once you get used to it, it's a different ballpark. But I love the speed. Really do.
Fallout 3 New Vegas, the point of it is to meet the kings. Otherwise, I can't say why. There's a point. Hot take for you.
Have you
no,
guys?
I
I can't wait for Outer Worlds.
I know,
very
Obsidian.
briefly.
Yeah.
I've just started playing the original Doom for the first time.
Yep.
That game's less floaty than you'd think.
Yeah, it's
You
pretty
know,
concrete.
More
Uh,
Wolfensteinish.
Yeah.
And they've carried that on like all the way to the modern day. That's what's unique about it as a shooter is it's like faster and tighter and meatier and like very
and
concrete
crunchy.
feeling.
Yeah, it's a little crunchier, and I think
Yeah.
that is important, even when you're shooting your dumb demons. You know, like
Yeah.
because the first game has a shotgun that you can shoot like a sniper rifle, like that shotgun
Dead.
you can shoot it from everywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
That's an oxymoron.
Right,
Yeah,
of
it's
course.
A gun that
Yeah.
but it's great. You know what I mean? Like, because you're hitting all those like I guess they're zombie people. I was talking about this online the
Deadites.
other night.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they moan
Deadites.
like they're not people, but they look like people.
Yeah.
There's different things. There's the demons.
some
that
of them are
opening a
demons from
portal.
hell. Some of them are damned souls who have been retrofitted with
Yeah.
demonic machinery for some reason.
But the Doom world is really stupid. Really stupid.
Doom World.
Story-wise and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
dumb. But like I like it better than Borderlands. I think because it gives me the one thing I really want, which is like let me fucking blow their heads
Oh,
off,
as a game,
please.
yes.
Oh,
yes.
sure.
I like
Sure.
Borderlands lore better. There's just so much
Oh,
more.
way better.
It's got
Yeah.
more diversity of
Yeah.
art
It's playful.
style and shit. Yeah.
I like that about it.
And they do well with the meta story. Like
BD
to have the big bad guy of the second one be just one of the gun companies of the first one. It's a cool
It's a good idea.
move.
I'm okay with that.
Have either of you guys played Absolver?
No, sir.
It's an indie game where they really they zoom in on actual like melee combat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more, you don't just walk up and press a button and it swipes the sword. There's micro interactions
That
to
you
like,
are controlling.
there's three
I kinda like
classes,
that.
like a sword fighter, gauntlets, and I forget the third one, like claws or something.
Yeah.
And it'll be like the sword's coming down. You literally can like block it with your arm and punch him in the gut.
Oh.
Like you're making strategic melee. I really think somehow if they could swipe that and involve it, like Borderlands would be so much better to me if I could shoot the people in the distance, but then jump an infinite distance down onto a balcony with more people and do melee shit. I think that needs more than just.
It needs your chainsaw.
Borderlands
it needs
to
your Doom
me
chainsaw.
felt like it was missing a more variety of melee combat because it is the type of shooter where you're constantly an inch away from enemies, and all anyone had was the standard click the right stick
Yeah.
to hit someone with something.
Yeah, and it's very wacky.
I would love a Borderlands where you have a few different like karate moves.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with
I,
more melee.
I think I want Borderlands to look the same, but have the same vibe as the comic books that are more intense, like
Oh.
Preacher or something.
as opposed to the.
Sure.
I mean, in regards to the blood and the shooting and stuff.
He wishes
and
it
the
wasn't as
feeling
funny.
of it.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't need it to be funny.
Yeah,
Like I don't
And
don't
yet-
want to take all the humor away.
that's one of
course.
the unique things that makes the fans really love it. Is it's the funny one.
Watch.
Because
Right.
Destiny takes itself too seriously, and that's boring.
And when it
you
does
know?
do comedy, it does it in a shitty blockbuster movie
oh
way.
my god,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Michael
bad.
Bay style.
Yes, Michael Bay. Perfect. Thank you. That's exactly the kind of jokes it does.
Or Hulk punching Thor.
Border-
you know, yeah, like a big, broad, simple joke that punctuates the action.
Borderlands is just a worse joke machine than the Avengers. It's like it's
but it's more like
snarkier
Clerks,
version.
or like it's actually like you said, it's not doing the Pixar or Marvel jokes where it's like action, 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 one joke, action, action.
Right.
They're doing like
Here's a bunch of
banter,
jokes.
like
Yeah.
they ramble on. Their
Right.
their writers actually sat and wrote, sort of like Portal 2. Like
Oh,
what?
Right.
if it was Portal 2.
I
friend.
agree. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
Right.
nearly as.
But you only have
funny,
to write 2 to 3 characters in Portal
But
2.
I'm saying
True.
the people writing it thought they were writing that. They're trying to write
Of
good,
course.
funny, banter.
Right.
Who am I? I'm just some guy with a fucking mic in front of me. I get it. Like,
I get that a lot of people think Handsome Jack's really funny. I think he screams like a comedian who's trying too hard to be funny.
I think he
Yeah.
screams a person who isn't a comedian is trying too hard to be funny.
Yeah. And I think it works within his character. Like within his character arc, he
Kind
is
of.
just a giant CEO asshole that he has people around him who always have to laugh at him because he's the big boss and he thinks he's funny. And then when he's dealing with you, you're like, yeah, no.
For that kind of humor, I
That's a
prefer
tough sell for me.
Oddworld. Remember them?
Oddworld.
The,
Yep.
Yeah, the
Oddworld
corporate-
is such a
Abe's
swam joint to me. I
Doesn't it? That game seems like the epitome of like it was made for me.
Yes.
It's as weird as it can be.
Agreed.
I love it. I love Oddworld.
I knew you'd like it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
even need to know
Abe.
hear you say it.
Bop,
But I knew it.
bop. Those are all the sounds you can make. It's one of the only games where farting is a button you press and it has a, well, I guess Fartman or Boogerman farted. One of the few games where there's a button that's dedicated to this button makes you fart and you use
Yeah.
it in the game.
Just not enough of them, really.
No,
Like,
you
not
barely
enough
use it. You mostly
Yeah.
chant and
Yeah.
stuff. All right. Well, that takes us to our final checkpoint. So we will completely be dissolved and reconstituted, and no one knows. Is it the same person? Did our identity and soul remain intact? Or is this just a clone with our memories? And,
Right.
you know? The Prestige, or as we call it around here, Keep or Delete. Although we've broadcast we pretty much broadcast our opinions. I'm a deleter.
Yeah, you are. I'm also deleting this game.
I hold on to this for dear life and dear love.
Good.
Even if it
Good.
leveled up? What if
I
Borderlands
want
3
things-
is great?
I want things that give Breandan joy to exist.
I
in
do
this
too.
world.
What if Borderlands 3 is great?
Then I'll
you'd
probably
replace
spend
it.
more. I mean, I did that with Borderlands 1 to 2, but
Like-
I think it's still within the same universe in my mind. Like with Pokemon. With Pokemon, I'll play more Pokemon games, but I'm not going to go back to Red as often because this one offers me a little bit more, but
Sure.
with all of the same feeling.
I like Ruby. If
If what if Borderlands 3 is awesome?
I was just gonna
Are
say,
you open to it?
I haven't even watched the trailer because I'm not that interested in the
Sure.
Borderlands franchise. But I know it's on the horizon. That's why we're doing this episode
Yep,
now.
yep.
I'm gonna watch the trailer right after we end this. Literally, if they've gotten enough money and time that they've added bullet impact, like the thing we were talking about,
Then you're in.
I would be in 1,000. It would change
Cool.
everything for me.
Which again,
If shooting the bad guys feels visceral, I'm in.
Yep.
And this is my problem with another one we've been wanting to cover forever, and that was my same beef with it. Is it was hard for me to get into The Witcher because I feel like The Witcher is kind of that way, and I finally, it's like The Wire.
crossed over. Yeah.
I did it enough that I'm like, I'm also a story guy,
Yeah.
and the story's so good
It's very good.
Mhm.
that
Yes.
I'm gonna finish The Witcher, and I no longer care that it's not visceral. But for
right.
Borderlands, I would need the shooting to get crunchier.
I got news for you.
That's fair.
Fallout 4, despite all the things we hated
You
about
mean
it.
Outer Worlds or
No, Fallout 4.
Oh yeah.
Fallout 4
Boston.
subtly did add crunchier shooting to that
Oh, they
series.
Slightly.
did. They definitely.
They did. I could see that happening in
Yep.
Borderlands.
I
I could
that's
see
what I'm
that
saying
happening.
is there's no reason they wouldn't. Maybe
Then we
do that
really have something on our
eventually.
hands. Then we'd have a stew going.
Yeah. One thing that we didn't cover that I will say about this game that I love very, very much is the multiplayer aspect. You can do couch co-op with 2 people or online up to 4, and that adds a real fun atmosphere to it.
I was very appreciative that they had couch co-op at such a late date in gaming history.
It's
I
so
remember-
rare to need it now.
But I did play Borderlands 2
Yeah.
with my friend,
Yeah.
split screen style, and it was like,
This
it's
is
cool
fun.
that this is an option.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
This is because there's basically Nintendo Switch is the only co-op system on the market.
Yeah,
now,
or DS. It's all
basically.
Nintendo. Yeah.
Right.
Basically. Brendan, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
This is
you-
awesome.
You got anything to plug? You're not like an
Um,
internet shill with a lot of stuff.
Not really, but if somebody's watching has got kids, check out DreamWorks TV on YouTube.
Nice.
I'll
Yeah,
be cutting
Brendan
for them.
has real jobs on studio lots and shit.
I
kinda
hear that's
shit-
great.
The kind of shit you don't have to plug. You're like, it'll be on TV when it comes out.
Yeah, when you're watching TV, remember me. I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well,
thanks
thanks for
again.
being here.
This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Lightning round. top 3 games that come to mind as favorite games. Not necessarily you have to debate best games, but for you, because I want to have you back and I need to know what your jam is.
Minecraft,
Already covered
Pokemon, Borderlands, Lisa. I really enjoyed.
Lisa.
Yeah,
Tell me
I don't know
about
Lisa.
Brendan.
Lisa is Earthbound, but much, much, much sadder.
Earthbound is that RPG with the kid in the
Yeah,
back.
it's Ness.
The Ness one,
Ness,
yeah.
And you've got a bunch of groups of
Interesting.
people with you.
Have you played Oxenfree? Seems
No,
like you
I
did.
haven't played
We're
Oxenfree.
picking a
Alright.
bunch of things that already make my heart sink right
Well,
now.
Minecraft we already covered. That's a done deal.
Yep.
We're done with that.
There's a small one that's almost like a mobile game, but the fighting I really enjoyed. It was called Dust and Elysian Tale.
Oh, where within it your powers are based on cards you collect?
I don't remember if that was what it was.
Okay.
I just want you guys all to know, as they're listening to these things, in 2012, April, I walked into a room. It's the first time I ever met Brendan. You know what he was doing? He was playing Magic the Gathering with Michael Swaim. They were playing Magic the Gathering.
Michael taught me
Fuck of
magic.
it.
They gave me a 10-minute explanation of how it worked, just because I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And they gave me a 10-minute explanation, and I knew these are sweet men.
Yeah.
These are very sweet men.
Well, first you have to understand what a planeswalker really
So you know what
is.
mana is, right?
Yeah, I think that's a sode, but you did make me want to say one of the games I'm most nostalgic for of all time that's the most obscure is a game called Dust. And I
Oh, a different
encourage
one?
people to look it up. It was a point and click
Cool.
like adventure Wild West game, all with real actors.
Oh.
Way back in the day, like the earliest a computer could generate photos
Like
of people's
Fallout 1.
faces.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Level.
so it'll be like you'll walk up to a dude and he'll go, "Howdy, partner," and then it'll change from that still photo to a still
To a
photo
new
of his
one.
face, but
Yeah.
he's mad, and
Yeah,
he goes
yeah.
like, "You stepped on my boot," and it's like, "What do you want to say? What do you want to say to this
No,
guy?"
I didn't. All you needed to say, Brendan, to get greenlit was Mario 64. If you just said that,
You know
We
what's
haven't
really
covered that
this
yet,
is
yeah.
a big point of contention for everybody with me. The 3D Mario universe I've always had difficulty getting
Awesome. Then we should have him back for that
That's
because it'll
interesting.
flip.
maybe we'll do a Mario
He can
Sunshine.
shit on it for a minute.
Maybe we'll do Super Mario Sunshine. Bring him in for that.
No, we don't need to do that.
You're wrong about
And
Mario
that's an
Sunshine.
episode.
Work complete.